Yo, what's up guys? Cam Flip for Ship reporting live out of the back of my apartment complex. So I have the Mutalisk with me here, and if you'll notice, if you care to pay attention to it, there's something that's different about this balisong, and it is actually right here. The tip is a little bit cooked. It snapped off. I was messing with it and the tip flew off in my room, and it flew and hit my dresser, and my dresser is actually constructed of mostly metal, and so in that situation it just completely obliterated the tip, which was just unfortunate for me. But it kind of brings me to a larger point, which is, at times I think we look on the downside of situations like this and say like, oh, this is so horrible that this happened. But in reality, this is actually not a bad situation for me, because I think whenever you're somebody who is a flipper, who flips a lot, who has a couple of nice balisongs, you kind of tend to, and I'm trying to this is not cope. I've actually genuinely felt this way for a while. I do like to preserve a balisong. I like to make it nice, but I also recognize that there's genuine value in having a balisong that gets destroyed, like the fancy side of it gets destroyed, because at that point you can begin to experiment with the balisong in ways that you might not have been able to do before. And you can really feel loose with it. You can really feel like you can do new things and not have to stress about, not have to stress about, am I going to damage it? Am I going to be worried that, the outcome of it is not going to be like how much I would want it to be? And so you can kind of get loose because it's already damaged as much as, it's going to be. And I think maybe it is cope in some regard, but realistically, it's just me kind of being like, this is how I feel. I do like getting a balisong a little bit damaged sometimes, and a little bit more, used, a little bit more lived in, a little bit more appreciated, because it gives you that perspective of like seeing what a balisong is like fully unleashed. And whenever you're using it for, regular uses, and it's not and it's not damaged, it's mint condition. Jesus Christ, the water is on the grass and it's making the balisong slip out of my hand. But when you have it in mint condition, it's like there's only so much you can do, right? And you are like kind of thinking to yourself like, I don't want to damage it, I want to be careful. But whenever you have it in this condition where it's like, semi-damaged, you're kind of like, I can just do whatever, it's already damaged, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate that it happened to this Mutalisk, which is a first edition, numbered. But at the end of the day, it's like, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? And I know this is like maybe another one of those out of touch moments that I have where, maybe if you was you guys, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like this means so much to me. I don't want to damage one of my balisongs that, I worked so hard for. But at the same time, I understand that perspective, but I'm also like, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other, and you'll get about the same distance, see which one gets you further, as they say. And I think wishing that I wouldn't have damaged the balisong is not going to really do anything, and just enjoying it for what it is and being able to have it and still appreciate it to the degree that I can, I think it's a good thing. You know what I mean? I'm all for it, and I don't know, I support having this balisong and just being like, fuck it, it's fucked up, but I don't care. I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna see the bright side of things. And I think you guys could probably, do the same, depending on, how much you like your balisong and all that stuff. But yeah, this is kind of like getting a little bit ranty, so I will just cut it off there and say, like, let me know what you think when you damage your balisong. Let me know if it's a big deal to you, or if you're kind of like, oh cool, now I get to kind of unleash this balisong, get to see what it's about, and really get a feel for it. Everybody's different, right? So you don't really know, but rock on.